Last time we discussed for all about the writing, what types of writings do we have, and what's overall writing and academic writing, and what do we do about writings? What do you remember from last class?
It must be optical and it must be exactly.
So we shouldn't repeat these things again and again. It should be formal.
Yes.
Like we shouldn't use words like as.
So exactly, we had some stuff like we need to avoid when we are writing something, which is we need to be precise, where like one message, one sentence. We cannot like talk about more and more stuff about what do we want to talk about. We need to be somehow complex but also understandable. Also, we need to avoid slang words, as you mentioned, other type of, let's say, shortened versions of the words, pronouns, etc. And after that, we need to use more academic word vocabulary and etc. to make it more formal, understandable, and academic.
It must be accurate, and we have to follow the consistency actually.
And we have to avoid the contractions. I don't know.
Exactly. What the contractions? I can hear.
Yeah, contractions and daily phrases.
Exactly, you can use that. They're available for day-to-day English, but for that type of things, unfortunately, we can't. So, what are we going to learn today? Why research methods and how to read and write a research paper. We all know that it's so important to write a research paper, but also reading a research paper is another very important topic that will help you to your studies, learning process, and writing process for your research papers.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Thank you. What's research? What do you say?
Research, you try to search something for your aim. Maybe it can be for your abstract main purpose.
But I don't ask about research paper, I ask what's research. There is a difference.
That's That's accuracy fact, that's accuracy thing, what we're investigating about some innovations, about some new things, what we have done, that's it actually.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any additions, friends? So, as you actually said, we can say it's inquiry, it's investigation, exploration, discovery of something, analysis, study, examination, experimentation, observation, or innovation. So all of them, like you can use one of them or like multiple of them to have a research. But research doesn't mean that it should be documented. It can be by your own. For example, you were just interested about butterflies, let's say, and you started to search about butterflies, and maybe you went to your village and you captured some butterflies and then analyzed their wings shapes and etc. It is a research, but it's not a published research paper. It's like for your own interest. For example, you learn something about butterflies, let's say. So if you go to a formal definition, research is defined as the creation of new knowledge. So there should be new knowledge for you, for other people, or for someone else, and or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. So that's one of the most important parts where, as we actually mentioned, in our research papers, we are not inventing. So this one is really hard to do for us because we don't have laboratories to go and analyze some, let's say, atoms, molecules, and etc. We don't have that much, let's say, knowledge. We are not PhD students, we are not, let's say, scientists, and etc. So that's why it's really hard to do. But what can we do? We can use existing knowledge and look at it from a different perspective that nobody ever done. So that makes our research, and it is a literature review that we can come up with new ideas. For example, in my research paper last year, let's say research for now, I analyzed what there is existing, let's say, communication network in Earth, on Earth, that we are using TCP, IP, UDP, and other stuff to communicate to each other. But as we go to the Mars or other planets to live, to explore, we will need some type of communication within this, let's say, astronauts or devices that they need also to talk to each other. So I searched, and no one combined it actually to each other, that there should be some system like an internet on Earth that they can talk to each other and they can have some type of communication. So what did I do? I used the technology that we are using on Earth. I combine some DTN, data-oriented networking, some other protocols that we use on space, and I created a new way that in the future someone can make this type of system that will work like Earth-like on the Mars for communication. So I didn't, let's say, create new knowledge. We knew that we have DTN, we knew that we have TCP, we knew that we have cables, we can connect them. I just combined them and took that different perspective. Well, what's the research paper? You had actually some ideas last time
Yes.
that you missed.
Research paper is that you use your information to you search some information and include this to your main abstract or something else for your paper.
Exactly. What else?
Before, as I say that, actually research is exploration or innovation. That what's the research paper? To answer the question, I can say that that's a publishing. For example, I investigated some innovation and then I made up mindset. I will publish it.
Exactly.
That's the research paper.
You also write any additions?
And we have to add reliable sources in
Mhm.
our research paper too.
Exactly. So, as actually you said, publishing, we can also say report, because you are reporting actually something. Publication, documentation, you are writing some article, or we can call it manuscript. They're actually like somehow synonyms, they are not exactly synonyms actually. It's a study, paper, write-up, record, or work that you have done, or research. If you go to a, let's say, definition of a research paper, it's going a research paper is a form of essay that evaluates a chosen topic through additional research from a variety of sources. This variety of sources can be the research papers of other approaches, can be your experimentation, can be your analysis, lab work, and calculations. It can be everything. So this research paper, the writer will analyze several different perspectives of a topic to prove their thesis sentences. So here actually we find some new terminology, which is thesis sentences. What do you think? What is thesis sentence?
Is that synonym with abstract or
What?
abstract?
No.
Bir cümleyle ifade edildiği
Kind of is.
To explain the main idea.
Exactly. What's your research about? It should be one sentence, explanatory, and it will explain what's the core of your, what do you want to show, what do you want to do in this research. And we also have research questions, which is also important. It can be more than one, and it is about what are you aiming to find at there. It's a question like, for example, if you're writing something about, let's say, psychology of the astronauts on long-term, let's say, space missions, your question can be like how space will affect the astronauts' mental health along the long space durations, for
That's
example.
related to my topic.
Yeah. So that will go like that. It is crucial to have that we will go, we will actually go through in next section, I believe, where for writing a research paper, you need to know what you want to do. So without structurally knowing what are you going to do, it's too hard to continue and keep up and write something, which we will try to make it easy for us. So here again, research and research paper, process of investigating a question, collecting data, and analyzing results can be research, but written document that communicates the research process and findings to others is a documented way, which is research paper. Happens before paper exists. For example, you can have an idea for multiple years in your head and you didn't have a chance of writing that yet. So, and then when you write, your research will turn into research paper and you will maybe publish it, unpublish it, or something. And research can be ongoing and can be informal and unpublished. So informal in a way that you go and discuss it with your friends, like write some notes down and etc., but not in a formal way, like the way that you want to write, the way that you think. And research paper is structured, formal, reviewed, and published. And it is because research should be available for everyone, that everyone should understand you when they read it. So, why research matters? We have the same question about writing and public speaking, but here, why research matters? It drives about innovation and problem solving, because on Earth we have multiple problems, not multiple, actually, hundreds of problems that we need to solve, and you give new perspective to each of like these problems, and you can maybe not enlight the full problem, but you keep a like flashlight to some part of that problem that will help to other people. It creates new knowledge, improves decision making in science, business, and policy, and advances human understanding. Are you reading research papers in your free time?
In my leisure time, actually, I do.
I recommend you to do it because it is really good. And let's see some examples. Can you give guys some crucial research papers on the history of the Earth that, or humanity, that they changed the world, or they found new findings that we are using them right now?
Connection between Mars and Earth.
As a research paper. Do you know some specific scientist or research paper like that? Okay, let's see. Actually, we all know, but we haven't investigated deep enough. That's why we can have some struggles. Einstein. So in 1905, he published 3 research papers about relativity, and about the photons, and about other time processes that actually impacted the world so much that we are using our GPS systems because of him, using like orbital systems and other stuff. And that actually, even this one, like this, even that one paper was actually one of the crucial points that we have rocket science today. We know what's orbit, we know how orbits work, how black holes work, and etc. And this all we are like related to him, thankfully. Another name, who can it be? It's from the computer science. We have some similar fields here. I believe if you're a computer science, computer engineer, or like programmer, you should know about him. And if you're going to AI, who will it be?
Alan Turing?
Yes, exactly. So, what did he do? Can you, if you know?
I think he's the father of machine learning because he investigated the various concepts in here. As an example, I can give it's maybe research paper, can machine think?
Exactly.
So I think everything in our current life began with their latest research.
Exactly. So, thank you so much. This guy was a genius. So I really like him, and he actually saved us from a World War II to be 8 years. He shortened that war. Also, he found AI, and he had, you maybe know, the famous Turing test that they are doing back-to-back the new AI models. And what's Turing test? Turing test is a test that you are like one of you guys sitting in front of a computer, and someone is talking to you. And you need to guess if that is a machine or human by asking them a questions. So, and Alan Turing test, this guy says that we can say machines can truly think when they will be able to pass and convince you people that the machine is a human, but not a machine. But right now, if you do that test with ChatGPT, you will most probably know that it's a machine, not a human talking to you after a few questions, because they are not that advanced yet. And actually, they argues that also like we cannot have, I'm not sure if it was here or not, that we cannot have machines that can think as good as people unless we change our computer technology to something else. Because currently we use transistors and they are not capable as our neurons that we use in our brain. So he also shortened the World War II, but how? So at that time there was a machine called Enigma, where it was a cryptography machine actually. For example, when German, let's say, mayors and etc. was trying to send some type of data to their friends and troops, they were encrypting that data by using that machine. That data was being unreadable, and then they were sending it. And the data was sending by radio waves, and radio waves, as you know, you can listen to them from wherever you want because they are going all over the atmosphere. So, but when English people or Soviets etc. was listening to them, they was not understanding anything because it was encrypted. And this guy came and actually created first Turing machine, and he created a way that understood that messages. And for 2 last years of World War II, the English people knew where will Germans hit or where will they attack and etc. But they also used a logical way that to not to go and say, for example, they knew that they will bomb some city, but they didn't prepare for that. They let German soldiers to bomb that city, because if they were be prepared for each of the upcoming attacks, the Germans would understand that, oh, something wrong. They got our secret and they will change their algorithm or something. So that's why they intentionally actually gave victims, but they shortened the length of the war. And also, we still have computer science students and engineering students here. We have one more concept from Alan Turing. Have you taken discrete mathematics?
Yes.
Have you taken computer architecture?
Yes.
And digital logic design?
No.
There is one machine type. There is one definition, Turing complete. Do you remember that? Okay. So there is some machine type, Turing complete, and we can call a machine, for example, our all computers right now are Turing complete. It means that it can manipulate any data in a complex way, that it can do anything else. So we say multi-purpose computing devices. Yes, they are your phones, computers, and etc. They can do more than one thing, one specific thing. Unlike microchips, that they do only one thing. Washing machine only washes, let's say, clothes and etc. But Turing complete means that actually multi-purpose computing, which can do more things by manipulating data and let's say paraphrasing it in general. So I would recommend you one film, and he's actually research paper to read. There is I forgot the film's name. It was Enigma Alan Turing, I believe, the name of the film. Anyways, it will be easy to find for you. And also his research paper, which can machines sing. It's really good. I really recommend you to read it. Another one. This woman actually got Nobel Prize because of their findings, and they got it in 2019 or 2020. I believe you remember CRISPR. Have you heard about it?
Unfortunately.
So these two women are so successful, and they got a new device, which is CRISPR, can cut our DNA and put new DNA samples inside of it. So as you know, we have DNA, got adenine, cytosine, and like that. And they can just basically have some, let's say, scissors type of machine that goes, it's not a machine, it's actually protein. It goes and cuts the DNA, gets it up, and plugs new one there. So it is so crucial that they can overcome Alzheimer's, they can overcome cancer, they can overcome all other genetic problems. Additionally, in the future, by using that technology, we can actually design our child. So you can go to a doctor, you can say that I want him to have blue eyes, 6 foot tall, have, for example, that brain capacity, etc. And that's actually another problem socially, but that technology will open the door for that. And they already did actually. There was probably saying that they got the wolves from past ages that they extincted. Şeyleri götürdüler, canavarları geri kaytardılar. Bir neçə ay xatırlayırsınızlar. Av canavarlar, nəsil kesilmiş canavarları geri kaytarmışlar. And also they are working on mammals. Right now they are trying to regain the mammals.
Jurassic World on it,
kind of, not exactly. And it's so interesting, when your child will, let's say, borrow, you will have a chance to cut some, let's say, DNAs that are wrong. And for example, let's say I have some in my DNA, I have some sickness, let's assume, hopefully not. And doctors can say it, what do I have, and they can cut it out for my child, which have more healthier and longer life than me. So, which is an amazing thing, and it will change the world. Maybe not today, but tomorrow it will change the world. And actually, the pretty part is two women did it. There was no man, they just worked harder and they got a Nobel Prize, and it was really interesting of them. So, we have a little activity for 15 minutes actually. Imagine you were the authors. We talked about 3 research papers, Alan Turing, Einstein, and this CRISPR. We have 3 questions. You have pen and papers in front of you. You can work in groups, actually 3 by 3, And what was the research question? For one of these, let's say, papers, we choose one of them. Three of them, we talked about CRISPR, Alan Turing machine string, and Einstein's relativity theory. And what was the research question? What was likely methodology they used? And who would benefit most from the findings? We have overall actual information about that. And please, we are not using ChatGPT, but you can check the articles from your phones. Now, like, we're going to series 3 if you want. Let's see what it is. Let's start. Can you start us? Which article did you choose?
The third article. DNA.
Yes. The third one was about CRISPR. What was the research question?
What was the research question? We write, it is about the human agriculture.
No,
It's okay.
How can we edit of genomic DNA in a wide variety of all cells and organisms, including insertion and deletion?
Great. Amazing.
And second one, what was the likely methodology? Cas9 protein, and Cas9 protein. And third one is what will benefit most from the findings. We write, it is about the human horticulture field, extinct animals, and Alzheimer.
Great. So first one was amazing. I really impressed. As the second one, what was likely the methodology? Cas9 is only one of them. You can actually make, and Cas9 is actually finding that they found that they can use that, let's say, molecule or protein to use and to cut it down and to rejoin it. And
we have to write what's the process.
Yes, exactly. They have, for example, literature review. They had lab experiments, and it says methodology is something like that. Like they had laboratory experiments. They did some research and etc. And who will benefit from the findings? As you said, Alzheimer's sickness people, the animals that extinct, and etc. And also, like let's say, actually, if we make it a little bit broader, it will look like medical staff, other scientists, animal scientists, and etc. So, what about you guys? Thank you so much, by the way. It was amazing.
We also used the third one. So, as the first question, we can say, what was the research question? How can we affect immune system to target and cut any DNA sequence in desired choosing? Second one.
The methodology was mostly molecular biology lab experiments combined with structural biology techniques. It was a combination of the biochemistry, structure of biology, and genetic engineering.
Very nice. And lastly?
As the last question, as we discussed earlier, it can help humanity to defeat genetic problems and make it more adjustable. For nature, the solution can make nature turn back extinct, and also any scientist from medicine, biological, or also agriculture can use this methodology to discover the possible causes of the solutions.
Exactly. Great. Thank you so much. So, it shows the importance of teamwork again. We had two teams, and we researched the exact same, let's say, article. And I would say that the best research question was your guys, and best methodology was yours. So, for example, if you wrote a real research paper, or if you have co-authors and that you are writing your own research paper right now, go and talk to them as much as possible. Because as you see, like they discussed and they found better research question, and you found better structured research, let's say, methodology that you said. Because, for example, your research question was a little bit so specific, like specifically to the sicknesses and etc. as far as I remember. But it was a little bit broader, like how it affects overall gene modification and this kind of stuff, which is broader and like more, let's say, to the point. We should not avoid the broadness so much, so our ideas shouldn't be wow. And there's actually one small problem in writing for us, which our ideas cannot be so specific and they cannot be vague. So you need to find somewhere in the middle as you did that time. And because so specific is going out of scope, because as you, for example, you mentioned going at specific gene and specific for, let's say, sicknesses, and out of scope is going, or like whatever gene is it, like even the dinosaur, etc., which is not. So before going to the abstract, to the structure of the research paper, actually I can mention it at the end. So the structure of a research paper. You have time? Yes. So we have abstract, introduction, methodology, results, discussion, and references. We have already written abstracts, and I think some of you started the introduction and other parts as well. What do you think? What's abstract at first? Let's go one by one. Yes.
The summarize of your main idea about research.
Exactly. Something else?
That's a shorter version of the abstract. For example, initially we are reading the abstract and then.
I'm asking what's abstract itself?
What's abstract?
Yes.
That's a shorter version of the article.
Yes, examples. So it includes a research focus question. It should include actually a research question and a research focus. It should have some type of methodology, key results, main conclusion, and it's around 150 to 150 words. It depends. In our case, it's a little bit longer. And write last, but place first in your paper. We didn't do that for IAC, but we should do it actually in the future. Let's say submissions. So, why do we have this? Actually, if you check this, isn't it kind of look similar to overall paper structure? First introduction, then methodology, results, and discussion. Isn't it the same thing? Actually, introduction, research focus, and discussion, then methodology, and results, and conclusion, which means actually also discussion, and that's it. Why? Because it's actually exactly a shortened version of your full research paper. You need to mention what is it about. You need to mention how did you do your research. You need to mention what was your findings and what was your conclusion. Findings and conclusion are two different things that we will come to that. So hopefully you did your abstracts in that way because we had some video, let's say lessons with you guys. About introduction. An introduction part is a little bit broader. It can be very, very long. It depends on you or however you want. Here it actually sets the stage and explains why the research matters, why it's important, why should we read it, why should we consider reading it or like making it as an important position to our research, let's say. It gives some background information. It shows research gap, which is one of the most important things that we will come to. It again says the research question and hypothesis, but in a longer context, and moves from broad context to specific context. So, think about this way. What's that? And actually, we are also doing the exact same thing in our course. We started, and how did we start? In our first lesson, we started what's writing, what's academic writing, formal writing, what's the difference between academic writing and day-to-day writing with your friends, chatting, and etc. Also in the public speaking, we did the same thing. What's public speaking, why it's important, very broad context actually. We gave some examples here, like Einstein, Turing, and in like say public speaking, we gave say some public speaker, Churchill, and other people. So it's really broad, and you will not listen, and believe me, you will take your phones out in a moment. Where if I came here and if I talked about, oh, that's the rhetoric, that's the message that you want to send, oh, that's, let's say, a deeply part research question in our first lesson. Because you don't know what's writing, and if I come to you and explain you what is rhetorics or what is hypothesis, you won't understand actually so many stuff, or you will understand, but you didn't know why you need that or why it's important. So that's why you need to start broad and go complex. So here you need to give background information to your audience who reads your paper, that what is the structure right now in the world or in the science, and what are you doing. Then you are going narrow, and then you are showing the research gap. So after background information that we will analyze actually one paper if we have time, and then you say research gap. What do you think the research gap is? Gap means for sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
That you can't fill it with your research.
Not
So,
exactly.
like, the question doesn't have answer in media or in internet. So we need to find something, and we fill this gap.
Exactly. So, we don't say media or internet, we say literature, adabiyat, and what's that? Because we do not actually, when we write research papers, we do not consider social media posts or like new press posts. We only try to consider research papers and articles. And what's that? It's actually what other scientists, okay, we know that there is, you barely will find any topic that no scientist talked about earlier. They talked about everything. Brain, AI, phones, phone cases in romables, whatever. There was an article last year, it was like my friend's article, space, technology, STEM, it was STEM, space, technology, engineering, and memes. So even there's an article about that memes, memes say, social media memes. So that's why it is really hard to come up with new thing, completely new thing. So that's why we need to find some research gaps. For example, you are reading, that's why it is important how to read a research paper and read a research paper. Before choosing your topic, you need to read, let's say, tens of research papers, and you will see that, oh, people talked about, let's say, how phones constructed. What do we use inside of that phone, let's say? What chip do we use? What, let's say, processor we use, and etc. But they didn't mention how durable is it on space, let's say. You said, no one talked about this topic, and then you go, it's a research gap in a literature that nobody talked about this, and you are focusing on that direction and doing it. For example, in my case, again, last year, I searched it up, I saw that, oh, we have internet, we know how it works, we know how well it works, we have DTN, we have space internet that they communicate with each other, but we don't have something fast and rapid enough on space that they talk to each other. So I found that research gap, I focused on that, and then I started to write my paper. And that's actually the main part what makes your research important. Because other than that, you can write the exact same thing that other people did in the past, and it will be useless actually. It can be useful sometimes if it's argumentative. For example, if you have something else, we can go at exact same, let's say, argument. But it will be my one, let's say, newest one will be useful in that case that I will prove you wrong. If I'm not proving you wrong, it won't, or if I'm adding something else, it won't be anything else. Like you already wrote it, and if it is correct, it's correct. So right now, for example, writing about the Big Bang is not a big deal. Everyone knows about Big Bang. But some of you guys come up with another hypothesis or theory that will discriminate a Big Bang theory, you will get Nobel, like most probably. And then we have research question and hypothesis. That's what our research is about, and what our research is going to talk about that we already discussed. And then,
Bizde bir neçə research gap oluyor.
yes, but it depends. If you have more than one research gaps, actually you can write more than one articles. Think about that way. So if you found it, I would recommend you to save other research gaps for other articles. But if you have this case, we can actually discuss it. So methodology. Purpose, it's actually for credibility and replication of your study. So if you call science, it should be replicatable. So what does it mean? You should get exact same results if you did exact same things that I did. So for example, if I did an experiment on like 100 people and got that we can cut DNA and something else, and if you go tomorrow and you do the exact same thing, you need to get the exact same results. So that's why it should be able to replicate. So that's why I need to have some tutorial on my scientific article that tomorrow if you want to test my results, you will be able to go and replicate everything and then get if I did it correctly or not. And if you see that I did wrong, you can write another paper that totally did it wrong, actually it should be like that. And it also helps other scientists to improve your credibility. Other scientists will see that, okay, he's a credible man, credibility means you can be weak. And for example, he used lab results, he used, let's say, experiments and etc. And then it will make trust inside of their, let's say, brain and feelings. And it also includes participants, subjects, like it can be other people, some animals, some, let's say, tools and etc. Materials, procedures, step taken, and data collection methods. Everything. It includes, and we will see some methodology parts. And results. So, what do you think about the difference between results and discussion?
Results and discussion.
Yes.
Oh.
It was a part that you confused me when I wrote.
So,
Result is that you totally completed your summarizing your researching papers at the end. That's a conclusion at the same time. But what's another? Discussion. Discussion is that, for example, there are scientists and they're around the gazette around the scientific paper, and they have discussed about the what we investigated till now, what will we do in the future, what's the negative or the positive sides of this research paper, and so on. That's the discussion.
Yes.
I think the same.
Okay. So, actually, we are too close with some additions and extractions. Results are actually bare data that you got from your experiment with which you review or something else. For example, you made, let's say again the CRISPR thing there, like you made and you got that, okay, that protein can cut the DNA and replicate the DNA, etc. It's your result. That's it. You have one protein in your hand that you can cut the, let's say, DNA and you can change some parts of the DNA. That's results. Of course, not that small, it's not being one sentence, you're adding everything. But what's discussion? Discussion is about what can you use with that results? What can you do with that results? For example, if you see the CRISPR discussion, you will most probably see that we can use it in animal extinction, we can use it on Alzheimer, we can use it on other stuff, and etc. It's that part actually. And results include, again, like present findings objectively. There is, in results, you cannot add any of your own results. It's what you got from results experiments. There is data, figures, and tables as statistical results, and not interpretation here, as I said actually. Just the facts. And you can have some charts and other stuff.
Can I ask something? Like, as you said, we don't have a laboratory or we don't have
Laboratories are
and we don't have enough knowledge about it, so all we can get results.
It will also give you results. You will search it up and you will get some stuff from other people's research and it will give you results. I will show it to you actually. And discussion part, interpret and explain your results. So here you explain your results in your own way. What you think. For example, I can give you like some DIY, let's say, tools, like 2 empty bottles, some ice cream sticks, and some, let's say, rope, etc. And all of you will do this something else, something different. So it depends on your interpretation, your background, your studies, and your field of view. And here it is where you talk about your results, okay? Interpretation, and what findings in context, comparison with previous research, and implications, limitations, and future findings, or directions that you can go. And also we have summary. Summary is actually kind of like an abstract, which is everything, a context inside of one small paragraph and talks about it. And then we have references, where it's just about credited sources and auto verification. Again, increases the credibility, and you have to do it. We will talk actually about open science, which why it's important, why should we do it, and etc. And we need to follow a specific format. It can be APA, IEEE, and etc. And we will use actually all these tools. I will show them to you. Like we will use research, like reference managers, and etc. Like Scribble. I'm sure it will you guys. And it will make your let's say life easier about citation. So actually, before going there, we will analyze paper, but let's first check this out. Last week's question was what? Do we think the way we write, or do we write the way we think? I will open an assignment, just please fill that. Last time we actually showed it here, but I forgot to add this. And this assignment is this one. Maybe there is a terminology for that. Maybe, isn't anybody knows what's that? If there is a term and scientific field about that.
Albert Einstein.
No, not a human. There is a one term, epistemology. Have you heard about that? Okay. So it is. It's an actual science, and so it's how do we know what we know? How can you be sure that, for example, I am here? Like, what defines if I am here or something? Okay, we are not going to philosophical. We can go by your own. I can send you one video, which I actually watched yesterday, and it's amazing. I was searching about that when I came out with one video. It was so good, but we are going kind of in an academic way. Like, how can you trust inside of your references? Like, what if the reference that you took from someone else is interpreted wrongly? And how can you make sure that it is not interpreted wrongly? And how can you make sure that your research is 100% accurate, honest, and ethical to use, to share, and to publish? So you will also have that one. Please write your thoughts. It's so interesting for me. And next time actually we will discuss how do we do that. So, before going finish our lesson, let's actually go and analyze some papers. My paper is so easy for myself to explain because I know what's where, but actually we can talk about it. So let's download it first. So, first the name, building resilient networks on Mars, strategies for enhanced interplanetary and interplanetary connectivity. And here we have an abstract. And if you see, again, let me tell you the same thing. We have all the parts of the search paper in this abstract. For example, it starts with introduction until here. 1 minute.
What university did you use in this abstract?
I don't remember. It was not extended 400 words, I believe. It's 309 something, I wrote, like in a living. For example, as the number of research instruments on the surface of the Mars increases, the lack of communication between independent instruments may cause some limitations and problems in space exploration. It's very broad and vague explanation that why do we need, what's the problem actually. And if you consider the idea of colonizing Mars in the coming decades, the lack of an established network means the colony we will establish on Mars will not develop as rapidly. And here you go, one of other problems. And then, what do we have here? In the past century, information sharing has become crucial for all disciplines, and it will be beneficial for humanity to not limit this information sharing only to the Earth, but extend it to beyond our borders. So, actually, it is the one that shows the actual importance of our research paper. Like, we are going to search on that part, and it is important because here we have credibility part actually. In past century, information sharing has become crucial for all disciplines. And these two sentences show the importance of our research, like why it is important, because communication is everything. It helps us to rapidly develop ourselves. So that's why we are going to talk about this, guys. Actually, we are showing it off. And then our hypothesis. The aim of a hypothesis starts something like that. The aim of this research is to investigate the network that we can establish on the surface of Mars and to examine the potential factors of delay-tolerant networking systems which were developed especially for interplanetary data transfer, as well as protocols such as TCP/IP and UDP/IP that we use now. Again, this time we show our aim, what I'm going to do, and it continues like that. Again, within the scope of our paper, we are going to do what? And then, this one. This is actually research gap and the problem. Therefore, it is apparent that using these protocols for communication between Mars and Earth will cause problems in terms of proximity and delays. Hence, it can be established using DTN. So, even though terrestrial networks can make problems, DTN will help us. And it goes like that. and then its methodology that we use. I'm not going to read it, and what is our results, we propose or something, and in conclusion. Then we are going to have introduction, where again, here, as you see, it starts very broad. The reason why the colonization of the moon is not possible, it goes like a story. It's not specifically about our research here. It's about like, what is complications. So we are talking about why it is kind of hard to colonize the Mars, and then we are going still broad. And here when we have that one, like there are, my friend actually, my co-author wrote this part. There are too many sides to this debate, like if we need to go to the Mars or not, and then, but the Kennedy in his speech, we choose to go to the moon, quoted the great British explorer, George Mallory. So there was actually, it's really good, maybe you know I believe. Somebody hiked into the Everest, the Mount Everest first time, and they asked like why, like you didn't get anything there, and he answered because it was there. So we are going to go moon because it is there. So it's, as you say, it is so actually broad and wide, and then we are going to somehow specific and going to second part of our introduction, enhancing Mars computations, frequency bands, modulation techniques, and optical innovations. That's what are we going to do in our part. So here actually we are talking about what are we going to use, how are we going to use, and why they are important in the introduction part. And as you see, we have how high frequencies usually, mean high data transfer, explain like what's our aim. For example, we was giving another type of frequencies, which you can find from that formula, and it meant you can send more data by using that frequencies. So it's explaining how. So from the very bar, from the JF Kennedy, we went to that formula, mathematical formulas, and expands the K bands and etc. And then again we are going more specific. We are showing what's the credibility here actually, what's going there, what's going there. We are using some sources and etc. And then we are showing what does it mean. It's faster, for example. It occupies less spectrum. It has higher execution, etc. So introduction part is going very broad, and the architecture that we want to do, and etc. You can talk about everything that you plan in the introduction part actually by going one by one, and then we have methodology part. So methodology part actually is embedded in. I will not be able to find it right now, unfortunately. Embedded in here, something up here. I need to read it. Which will take your time. Where it explains we did a literature review and etc. In a literature review papers, because we didn't do that broad methodology like going searching for like analysis and etc. So we can have embedded methodology within the introduction itself, because we don't have any laboratory analysis or something to talk about too much. So and after that, we just wrote finished embedded, let's say, methodology within that. And then we passed to where? We passed to directly to results and discussion. So again, results and discussion can be together. It depends how. So actually you have a chance of manipulating them some way. So here we first talk about results, the specific results of our research paper, and then we come here and we specifically talk what can we do by using that results, and going here and we have some small conclusion that what can we do in the future by using that let's say technology, and then acknowledgements. So acknowledgements is another part that we didn't talk about, but you can use acknowledgements. It is what actually it is acknowledging someone's help to your research paper. So if someone helped you too much, they deserve to be your co-author. Like you're adding them as a co-author, that you wrote this paper and they helped you too much. Maybe you use their formulas, maybe you use their, let's say you brainstorm them so much and etc. Then these people deserve to be co-authors. But if their effect is not that much, you can, or it can be an institution, it can be Azercosmos or somewhere, you can add some small acknowledgement part. It's like kind of a respect to have. For example, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to IAG University for their generous sponsorship. and offers special thanks to Azercosmos for organizing and managing all aspects of travel arrangements, and express our deep gratitude to Professor Elçines and Alzheimer. He helped us, he motivated us, he helped us some brainstorming, but he didn't want to be a co-author, and he didn't help as much as to be a co-author. So also we added his name as here. So just consider you can send to university, so Azercosmos in the future.
Is it mandatory?
No, it's not mandatory. It's like a hermetic if you want. Yeah, it's up to you. And then references. By the way, do not afraid of having too many references. Look at me. Like I have to search for references. If you do literature review and if it is very well documented, it is going to be actually broad, and you are going to have too many. So if you go to lastly, I see, let's say template, it shows us the same thing actually. So we have abstract here, we have, I don't know what's it, I need to search that. We have acronyms, we also have acronyms here. And what's acronyms? Acronyms are like
Abbreviations.
What?
Abbreviations.
Yes, exactly. For example, we use them here, like AMO, and opening them, and then in the text you can use just AMO. You don't need to write this full thing when you write it down. So, and then we have introduction here, and inside of the introduction, as you say, everything that we will kind of like subparts, and theory calculations, numbers.
So we can change the name of the sections, for example.
Yes, you can have any sections that you want, but first introduction should be mentioned, and then, for example, it can be anything like introduction, theory, and etc. If you see materials and methods, and etc. And then it comes here, results. Oh, we didn't have methodology because this guy doesn't ask about it here inside of the text. You can embed it in a conclusion or abstract, but they don't specifically ask. Then you have results, you have discussion, and you have conclusion, acknowledgements, appendix. Still, you cannot have append, and references. And kind of that's it with the research paper. If you have any questions,
I have.
Yes.
I've seen that in your paper you didn't use any numbered references. So is it mandatory or not?
Numbered references?
Yes. For example, in the context.
So there are styles. We use APA 7 style, and APA style we use something like that. We will go over them. You have two types. You have parenthetical and another one I forgot to say. Yes, negative and parenthetical. Parenthetical means that you take something from somewhere. Let's say that one. For example, here we go. Okay, it's a little bit longer sentence. So for example, here we talked about local area networks and etc. And we took it actually from someone else's article. So at the end we wrote that one. Wang et al. 2023. Wang is the name of main author, and et al. Means başkaları. And we will have some rules. I will show them here. If you have more than two authors, you can write the name of the main author and then write et al. Like başkaları, and the year of publication. Or you can say, for example, Flankes dedi kimsine. Here, for example, we did that. To address this challenge, Wang et al. Proposed, he said something, for example, and here you don't need to actually say number. In other case, you can use some numberings. For example, this research numbered it. You mentioned that one, yes, as far as I understood.
Yes, exactly.
For example, one.
Yes.
I recommend using that one because it's more informational. It's kind of a little bit hard to find what's that about. But here, for example, you found one at all, and you come here, and here we go, for example. You find it. And you can click into it, and you can go to that article directly, and you can do that.
Okay, that's good.
That's it. Do you have any questions? So I believe we can go on a break, but let me take the attendance first time, sorry. Okay. Your names, please.
Value puzzle.
11, 11.
11.
Ne yaptım kurtardım çünkü. Yok şey demişim ya.
Tamam, 14.
Murat 8.
Cevap bir daha. Şurada. Şans olmaz. Evet, orada 19. 19.
Amir. 23'teydi de.
Bəxtiyar 20'de.
Bəxtiyara el yazdı diyorsun. Aa, sorry.
Yani etkisini tavsiye ederim. 2'ye düştü o etkisi. Neyse, bir gençler yarım saat sonra yarım saat sonra.
Kanserini sanırabilirsiniz. Olmaz burada. Ve yakın olsun. Kanserini sanırabilirsiniz. Ne? Kanserini.
Elbette.